Good evening. Hello, everybody. It's Friday once again, and it's been one heck of a Friday. It's been crazy today. But the good news is it's Friday. It's a holiday weekend. I hope everybody's getting a long weekend on one side of it or not. It's Labor Day weekend. And as you all know, I just want to officially remind you that Monday the grilling season's over. You know, we can't grill anymore till Memorial Day. Is it? Doesn't grilling season run from Memorial Day to Labor Day? Is that not how that works? But anyway, we're gonna get kicked off with a drink. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the man cave. Uh, and as we do every Friday night, we're gonna start off with a drink, and I am going to have my house whiskey tonight, which is the Jack Daniels Single Barrel Select. Uh, I'm getting near the bottom of this bottle, but there's good news. I bought another one, so I'm not going to run out of my house whiskey. I've got another fresh bottle of that standing by. I might have enough in there for another glass. We'll see. But good luck came my way today, and I was able to obtain another bottle of the Colonel E.H. Taylor. Phil, glad you could make it. Yeah, I hope you guys are surviving down there in Australia. I know the stress down there has got to be as bad as it is here, if not worse. Randy, uh, glad you could make it. So, cheers. If you're having a drink with me, leave me a comment over in the comments section and tell me what you're having, and tell me where you're watching from. We tend to have Australia here every Friday night. I'm trying to see if we got anybody from Europe here as well. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, because I know it's late. London, there we go. We've got the UK on board, so we have both sides of the globe covered right there with the two of you from the UK. The UK has got to be pretty close to the opposite side. So, oh, mom's here. Mom, glad you could make it in. I talked to mom a little while ago. Guys, I went down to Atlanta Grill Company today, and let me get started on this, and then I'll tell you about Atlanta Grill Company. Mm, I needed that. Normally, it takes me 4.5 hours, not counting any stop I might make, to get from Atlanta Grill Company to here and vice versa. Traffic can fluctuate that trip 20 or 30 minutes sometimes, but today it took me 6 hours to make that 4.5 hour trip back. When I was coming up Interstate 85 out of Georgia, about the time I hit the South Carolina state line, traffic came to a crawl, and I've got to go 70 miles up 85 from the Georgia border to hit Interstate 26 to come on back up into my neighborhood where I live. And it took me 2 hours, I think, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes to make that 70 miles there. And it was just, I was pulling my hair out. See, look, this is what happened today because of that drive. It's ugly. So, Scotty, glad you could make it with us. But I went down, I had a couple of objectives at Atlanta Grill Company today. I bought a new video camera that I wanted to play with. I wanted to do a really cool walk around. Steve, glad you could make it from New Zealand. There we go. I wanted to do a walk through a video of Atlanta Grill Company with this new 360-degree action camera. Hank, good to have you with us. But I ran into a problem with it. I couldn't figure out how to fix it, so I'm going to have to play with it a little bit. But my camera would shoot 3 or 4 minutes of video, and then it would stop. And it would just stop recording. And I wanted to do it all as one clip, so I'm going to have to solve that and figure it out. I don't think it's my micro SD card because everybody's talking about you got to have the fast card for this 5K camera, and I bought the card they recommended, so I don't think it's the speed of my card. It may be something in my camera settings. I'm going to talk to their tech support, so I will go back down and make the walkthrough video that I want to do with this new camera once I get that sorted out. And I won't wait too long to do that. I may go back as soon as next week one day if I get it figured out. But what did I bring home from Atlanta Grill Company today? Not a whole lot. I bought a new hat, which I'll show you next week. Maybe it's a ball cap. It's a PK Grills ball cap that's got a cool little logo on it. I bought the griddle, the cast iron griddle accessory to go with the small PK Go portable charcoal grill. So I'll probably do a cook on that sometime soon, but I didn't buy anything else. I created a puddle of drool on the floor though. The new versions of the Myron Mixon Bark pellet grills are there. They've got 2 of the 3 on the floor there now, and I really, really like the looks of that pellet grill. It's got more capacity than most pellet grills do. It's very well built. It's stainless steel. It's got a lot of stainless steel. It's got double wall insulated gasket lids. It's got a big pellet hopper. It's the new version of it has Wi-Fi control. The older one didn't, and I gotta sort out exactly what that grill's going to cost. I'm considering one. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'd like to have one because that would give me another high capacity grill. Right now, I don't have anything here that I can put a lot of meat on. And looking at this thing, I know I could put 4 briskets on it. This is the small one. The smallest one they've got has got 4 racks in it, and I'm pretty sure from what I looked at, I think I could put 4 briskets in that grill without a lot of stress. I know I could easily get 8 butts. I couldn't cook on 4 racks if I was cooking butts, but if I was cooking ribs, I could probably get, oh geez, I know I could get 12 to 16 racks of ribs on that pellet grill. So, Michael, glad you could make it. Christmas is coming. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna bring Tanya in here with me. I know Tanya was up there working on getting her a coffee drink going. Yeah, my mom's got a long Christmas list. Well, Mom, I already know what you're getting for Christmas, so I haven't shopped it yet. But if Mom can, maybe Mom could get me that pellet grill. I need to send her a link to that. See what I have been good all year. What are you drinking tonight, Tanya?
Well, tonight, I remembered that you bought Kahlua a couple of weeks back. And
Yeah.
I have made my own special recipe, sort of White Russian. It has Kahlua, it has coffee, it has some cream, and of course some good whipped cream and
No
chocolate.
vodka. That's a White Russian, you said?
Yeah, I left the vodka
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Kahlua.
should
So
call it a white Ukrainian since I left the vodka out. I
I
don't
need
know.
to get you a bottle of Bailey's, I guess, to go with that Kahlua.
Yeah, so if I get tanked tonight and things get wild and crazy on the show, it's your fault.
I don't think that's going to happen. But Tanya had to work today, so she didn't get to go to Atlanta Grill Company with me. But maybe next time. We'll see. Tanya, I'm going to put you back. Ed, glad you could make it. Luca, it's good to see you today. Good to see Jeff today as well. And it was also awesome to see Tom. Tom, I don't know if Tom's in here with us. Got to see Tom, Jeff, and Luca today at Atlanta Grill Company. So that was a good trip. And Gerben, I got to see Gerben today. He stopped by as well. So Tom, there he is. Tom's with us. Tom Cleveland. So yeah, Tom saw that new pellet grill I was looking at. So we'll see if I can find a way to make that happen. I'd really like to have one, but I don't know. I forgot about the main thing. Eric, I bought the griddle for my PK Go, the little small PK grill. I picked up my Auto Wild salamander while I was there. I got that today, and it's still in my car. I was so frazzled when I got home, I didn't even unload my car. I've still got to get my stuff out of the car, but I've got the Auto Wild salamander grill that I told you about last week. I haven't taken any pictures of it yet. I'm going to make some video content with that. I'll make a walk around demo to show you that grill and show you its features. And that's a broiler. It does nothing but broil, but it does broiling extremely well. Bob, the pellet grill I'm talking about was the Myron Mix and Bark, BARQ. And I was looking at the smallest model that they make that's still like 1,700 square inches of cooking space. It's maybe, I don't know, it's got 4 big old racks in it. So that's the one I'm looking at. They don't have the inventory yet for shipping on those. They've got 2 of the models on their floor, but I'm going to wait until Atlanta Grill Company has inventory before I consider getting one here, because I don't want to, I want to pimp something that Atlanta Grill Company's got to sell, and that's right now that's been a little bit difficult sometimes with the inventory issues we've had and the logistics problems we've had with COVID. I did not get to see Gary White today, but I did talk to Marcus and I talked to Jason. I'm going to get Gary, and one way or another, I'm going to figure out how to get Gary on a live stream. What I might try to do there is I want to do some live streaming on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page, and I think the best way to do that would be for me to start that process with Gary White. I know you guys have all seen Gary White's name in social media because Gary's active on the forums, and I'd like to introduce you guys to Gary so you can put a face with that name and get to meet Gary. Gary's a really interesting guy, so I'm going to see if I can make that happen sometime soon. I need to call Gary, but Gary's so busy. I think Gary might be one of the hardest working guys down there. Gary, the last 3 times I've been down there, I haven't seen Gary because he's been over at their new warehouse. He's running that show, and I haven't been over to the new warehouse yet. I don't want to go over there because I don't want to interrupt him. I don't want to slow him down. He's busy shipping all these grills that you guys order. So I'm going to try to get a hold of Gary on the phone maybe over the weekend or next weekend, and we'll sort it out. And Phil, the Rock Box, I've got a Rock Box, and I've done video content with the Rock Box. It's great. If you'll look at Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel, you'll see several videos I've made there with the Rock Box, and I may have even created a playlist on that YouTube channel with the Rock Box cooks. I've got the Rock Box, and it's excellent. It makes great pizza. No, yeah, my mom does look young. She doesn't look 89. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that, guys. I should never have said that. No, my mom's 76. She's 75 or 76. She's 76 this year. So, yeah, I'm going to be in trouble for that, guys. I like it when Mom stops in here. Mom keeps me in check. She doesn't like it when I use profanity, so I have to be careful about that. And I'm really trying hard to give up profanity. It's hard when you've been doing it as long as I have, though, so I'm working on it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about cooking. I had a fantastic week of cooking. I really slammed hard this week, and this time of year, what I'm trying to do is get ahead on my videos. Today, I published a video on it. I published 2 short videos on Atlanta Grill Company this week. One yesterday was how I rendered my brisket fat. Hey Judy, my cousin. I got the whole family's out here tonight. Glad you could make it with us. Judy's up in Virginia, and I did the first video on I cooked a brisket. That's one of the videos I made this week that I haven't published yet. We're going to look at some of that. I think I've got some pictures of that in here to show you. But I bought a 12 point, I think it was 12 3/4 pound brisket. The brisket prices are getting affordable again. I found a prime grade brisket at Costco for $4 a pound, which is still a little more than I like to pay for it. It's still about 50 cents a pound more than it normally is, but I decided I wanted to do another brisket video. So I trimmed off, and I didn't trim that aggressively. I trimmed 3 pounds of fat off of that. So that's $12 worth of fat at $4 a pound. So I rendered that fat. I made a quick video on how I render fat and make beef tallow out of it. Now I've got a nice jar of beef tallow that I can use for saute. I can use it for frying or whatever. It makes an amazing, what I really like to do with beef tallow is melt a little bit of it down. If I'm going to make potato wedges, I like to toss my potato wedges in beef tallow and then season them and then put them in the oven and roast those. Beef tallow is just, it's like ghee in a different way. It brings a flavor presence to whatever you're using it on like nothing else. But ghee, well, like ghee, it doesn't taste like ghee, but it's that much of a flavor improvement like you get with clarified butter or ghee. So let's look at some of the stuff. One of the other things I did this week was when my wife and I were at Publix, I found some of these big turkey legs. I love cooking these things, and I don't know, you guys have heard me talking about, I'm not a huge fan of turkey, but man, I will throw down on a turkey leg. This is the best part of the turkey. And as far as I'm concerned, if you guys are looking for something different to do for Thanksgiving this year, don't cook a whole turkey. Just get you a bunch of these guys, and that way everybody can have a leg. When I was young, sometimes we would have Thanksgiving dinner at my grandmother's house, and there's possibly some other younger cousins, some cousins along with me and my sister there. And the problem we ran into is the turkey doesn't have but 2 of these when you're cooking a whole turkey. But now these people have gotten smart and figured out, well, let's just sell some of those big legs. And I bought 4 of these. I cooked 2 of them to make a video. So this 2-pack right here weighed 3 pounds. So these turkey legs are roughly 1.5 pounds a piece. They're really large. One of them was a little larger than the other that you can see here. But I borrowed Meatheads recipe from AmazingRibs.com for the Disney style turkey legs. I made a few minor modifications to it, but not much. It's basically salt, molasses, or he uses brown sugar. I use molasses, and it's salt, molasses, and curing salt. And this is to make those festival style turkey legs. And I put these in my vacuum sealer here with that brine and let them brine. You need to let them brine for 18 to 24 hours, but no longer than 24 hours or they'll end up too salty. So I let these guys brine overnight, and then I took them out and I dried them off with a paper towel and put them on a rack and put them back in the refrigerator to let the skin dry. If you can see this, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving in that or not, but this meat, it turns dark. It turns a dark reddish color here, and that's from the curing salt. This is the same sort of thing that happens when you do pastrami. When you put the curing salt on a brisket, it gives this meat that pinkish reddish color like a smoke ring, even though we haven't put it in the smoke yet. But I smoked these guys. Actually, that picture wasn't supposed to be here. I restocked my smoking chunks because I was out, but I smoked these guys on the Kamado Joe, and I smoked them at 300 degrees until they were just beautiful. I used the fireboard, obviously, to run my grill because that's what I do. And I just let them smoke, and they got darker and darker and darker. These things were off the hook. And the smaller of the two, I ate for lunch that day. And my nephew really likes these big turkey legs, so he's getting one of these. They're really delicious. I don't really know how to describe the flavor of that if you've never had one, because the curing salt, the Prague powder #1, the pink curing salt that's got sodium nitrite in it, is what you use. You just use a little bit of that. I think that whole brine that I made had 2 cups of water in it, and I think it had a teaspoon. It had some salt, a couple tablespoons of salt, and a quarter of a cup maybe of molasses, and just a teaspoon of the pink curing salt to give it that. And it, let's see here. That's what that looks like when you bite into it. And I know some people may feel a little bit odd about that meat not being white or brownish and it having that pink color, but you have to trust me that pink color is from the curing salt, because I cooked this guy up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's when I took it off the grill. I was running a temperature probe to know when this guy's done, because you definitely don't want to undercook poultry. But this has that color from the curing salt, and this is what you end up with kind of when you buy those festival or those Disney turkey legs. This is what you get, and they've got a beautiful flavor. They're really, really off the hook. Has anybody here ever tried that before? Have any of you guys tried the turkey? Tried the cure or doing that Disney style turkey leg? I'm not sure. If you have, let me know in the comments here, and let me know what you think about it. Steve said it sounds awesome. It is. And I'm trying to decide about a Thanksgiving turkey video this year. I've got 2 more of those legs, and I think I might go get 2 more if I can swing back by Publix. I think it might be interesting to do a Thanksgiving turkey video and just do turkey legs. I've done I don't know how many whole turkey videos. I've done lots of whole turkey videos, and I'm getting bored with doing turkey videos. I wonder what we could do with a turkey leg. Apple rum and the AGC brine. Yeah, Andy, I could do that. I've got some of the AGC brine mix around here somewhere, I think. I got a new one last year, and I don't know if I used all of it. I may have them send me another one, but yeah, I could brine those guys in the Atlanta Grill Company turkey brine and season them up normally and roast them just like I would roast a regular turkey and just do legs. No, Eric, the Himalayan Sherpa has it's salt, pepper, and garlic, but that pink salt that's in the Himalayan Sherpa is not a curing salt. It's I don't remember what they call that. It's like Himalayan. That's where the Himalayan comes from. It's that Himalayan rock salt that's got the pink color to it. That does not have a curing salt in it. That's totally sodium chloride with some trace elements in it that give it that color. Paul says we could do a turkey breast. Yeah, we could, and that might happen as well. I would like to do a stuffed turkey breast. The problem I've got here is I've thought about that in the past and I've tried it. I have trouble buying a turkey breast where the skin is intact and not just butchered. I can buy a whole turkey breast with a bone in and it's got the skin on it. But typically, when I buy those, and you can't see inside the package until you get it and open it, but the skin's usually butchered on those, and I hate it because to do a nice, good looking stuffed turkey breast, I need that skin to be intact where I can butterfly the breast out and then roll it up and wrap the skin back around it because I think that's an important element on a stuffed turkey breast. And turducken, Nancy, bless your heart. I've been asked to do turducken so many times, and I can't bring myself to do it. That's what a turducken is, guys. For those of you that don't know, it is a turkey that's stuffed with a duck, and the duck is stuffed with a chicken. And I'm just not willing to do that. To me, I feel like that's a novelty cook more than a serious meal. Uh, well, Mom, I could do that. I could buy a whole turkey and take the breast off, but I have the exact same problem buying whole turkeys. If I could get a farm to table type situation where nobody around, I don't have anybody locally to me that raises turkeys where I can go to them and say, hey, I want one of your turkeys at Thanksgiving and get one that I'm going to be insured hasn't been torn all to crap when they process it. It's difficult. So maybe I'll start looking around. It's not too early to start looking for that, but I'd like to find one. If I could find a turkey that the skin looked good on, I might try to do a stuffed turkey breast. That's doable, and that a stuffed turkey breast is a perfect Thanksgiving main item for a small family. It is. You know, you could. I don't know if some of the turkey. I've seen turkey breasts that are huge. I've seen turkey breasts that weigh 8 and 10 pounds. So I don't know what size turkeys those come off of, but they're monsters. Brian's asking when I'm going to get the new PK original. Well, I don't know. I want to look at the Aaron Franklin one first, and they're not out yet. I looked at the PK 300 again today when I was at Atlanta Grill Company. I really like it. It's a really nice grill. It's just, unfortunately, it's one of those things I don't really need. I've got the PK 360, which I like even better than the PK 300, but I want to look at that Aaron Franklin model before I decide what I'm going to do about the PK grill. What I ought to do is see if I can find somebody that's willing to buy my PK 360 and let me just replace it with the PK 300. We'll see. I'm probably going to bring one of those two grills up after I can see what the Franklin model looks like. So Phil's with us. Yeah. Phil, you are in Ireland, aren't you? That's where you live, right? So turkeys, I always wait too late to think about that. And I may be too late already to actually get my name on a farm to table turkey for Thanksgiving. And like I said, also, I don't have a source that's close to me. The closest ones are 3 or 4 hours away. Sydney, that's right. Okay. But that was one of the cooks I did this week. That thing came out beautifully. One of the other cooks I did this week was beef ribs. And I don't know how many times I've said it, but beef ribs are my favorite barbecue meat. The beef short ribs, the plate ribs or the chuck ribs. I don't care for the back ribs. I've never seen back ribs that had enough meat on them to make me want to buy it. I've cooked some of them before, but when you cook those things, you got nothing but bone left when you're done. There's very little meat on those usually. But these guys are my Porter Road Texas short ribs that I buy from Porter Road out in Tennessee. I mail order these, and these are really beautiful. These are I don't remember what the weight on this package was. I think it was close to 5 pounds. But I wanted to do something different with beef short ribs that I've never done. I typically smoke these guys until they're just super tender, or I smoke them for a while and then finish them in a Dutch oven with a braise. And when I do that braise, I put Guinness beer in it. I put beef stock, some onions, and some garlic, and it really makes some amazing short ribs. But this is a great blurry picture from my phone. But what I had done here is I had salted these. I gave these guys a good coat of salt and put them on that quarter sheet tray and put them in my refrigerator overnight to let these guys dry brine. And I got them out the next morning. And what we're going to do here, I'll tell you, is we're going to grill these ribs instead of smoke them, and grill them to a medium rare temperature like you would a steak. So what I've got going on here, I've got my little Finex sauce pot with some butter, garlic, and rosemary, and I toss that on the grill and let that butter melt and let that garlic saute in that butter a little bit with that rosemary, because that's kind of what you call the holy trinity of steak based right there, is garlic, butter, and rosemary. So after these ribs have dry brined overnight, they've got this beautiful red color. They just look crazy good. And these ribs are always extremely well marbled. You can see that here. I have never been let down with these ribs I'm buying from Porter Road. So I actually cooked on the PK360. The PK360 is my favorite grill for two-zone grilling or any basic direct grilling. I love cooking on this grill. I could have done this probably on the PK Go, but since I was going to have two-zone cooking and I was going to do a sear first and then finish over indirect, I wanted a little bit bigger grill where I wouldn't be too hot inside the grill, because I really wanted to get a good sear on these guys. So I put them on the charcoal and just kept them moving until I got, some really nice color and a little char on the outside of these ribs. And then I moved them over to the indirect side of the grill. And while I've got them on the indirect side of the grill, I'm basting them fairly frequently with that butter that's been bathing there with the garlic and rosemary. And there's what that looks like after it's been on there a while. This is the one note about doing this. You need to let that butter get good and hot, because if you don't, that garlic actually needs to cook in this butter before you use it as a base. If your garlic ends up raw and doesn't get a little bit of a cook to it, it'll taste a little funny. So make sure that garlic gets a chance to simmer in that butter and let that butter get good and hot. But I kept basting it with that, and this is what you end up with. I took the bone off after I cooked it. I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to take the bone off before I cooked it or after, so I just left it on for the cook. But this is medium rare. I let these guys cook to an internal temperature of about 130, and I used my thermometer and I stuck it in the opposite side of the bone all the way down to the bone to measure that temperature. And when I hit 130, I pulled these guys off and let them rest for a while. And these guys are perfectly tender. They've got about the same bite and chew consistency as a medium rare strip steak, a New York strip. They're not quite as tender as a prime rib, and they're definitely not as tender as a tenderloin fillet. They're about like a strip, and they're delicious. I've never done this before, and I don't know if Stephen Hickey's with me tonight, but he and I talk about I don't often do a video on something that I haven't tried before, but this is one of those rare occasions where I had not done this before. The video was the first time I've done it, and these came out perfect. They're beautiful. You just take that rib off the bone and then slice it, and that's a perfect protein for a meal. They were really delicious, and you could make a sauce to go on this or sauce it with whatever you might like. You could put barbecue sauce on it. You could put a steak sauce that you like on it. You could make a beurre blanc for it. And I don't think hollandaise or a béarnaise would do particularly well here. But, whatever kind of sauce, if you like sauce on meat, do it. This guy probably, I didn't do it here, but I probably should have garnished that with a little of the really flaky Maldon sea salt, the extra flaky salt. So, Brant, you're going to try this. You're going to do that with these short ribs. What was that comment? I missed the last comment. Tanya, Phil, yeah, the Holy Trinity. So, Phil's there with the lamb shoulder comment. I have not. One of the things I might do next week is I have some lamb ribs in the freezer that I bought from Porter Road. And I think I'm going to have to look. I've got a shoulder in my refrigerator that I believe I might have a lamb shoulder. So, I can't remember if what I bought was a lamb shoulder. I need to go look because I've got so much stuff in my freezer right now. I don't remember, but if I've got the lamb shoulder, I might do 2 lamb cooks this coming week. I know I've got some lamb ribs in there, and I think I do. I can't remember. I know I bought a beef neck, and I don't know if I can't remember if I've cooked that yet. But I may have a lamb shoulder, and if I do, I'll get that out. So if I cook the lamb shoulder, what would you recommend me doing with it? You said make pulled lamb, but do you need to serve that on a tortilla, make a taco out of it, or what would you do? What would you do with that pulled lamb? I don't cook much lamb because I'm the only person in any of my family that I know of that'll eat it. My wife won't touch it. I don't think my mom and my sister will eat it. I don't think my wife's family will eat it either. But I love lamb. I'll eat it. But I got to figure out what the best thing to do with that would be if I cook it. So, leave me a comment and let me know what I should do with that if I make pulled lamb, because that's a good idea. Which ones are greasy, Christopher? Are you talking about the beef ribs? Are you talking about the beef short ribs? There's a good bit of fat in some of these short ribs. That's just part of the rib. What you can do, depending on what you've got, is once you have it cooked, you can slice it off the bone and you can trim some of the fat off. If you have external fat before you start cooking, you can trim the fat before you cook if you want to, but I don't recommend trimming it till after you cook. Let me go back to this picture right here. This fat here on this edge, let's see, I'm not pointing the right place. These, as you can see where my mouse is right here, there's fat along this edge. I would recommend trimming that before you eat it. Some people like to eat the fat, but if you think that if you don't like that, then just trim it off. But on this particular cook, you don't get as much of the fat rendered out. If I had smoked these beef ribs like I normally smoke beef ribs and finished them in a braising pot, most of this fat would have rendered out. There wouldn't be that much of that fat left in here. But these, only cooking this to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, we're not going to render all the fat out. That's a very fatty cut, but man, it's delicious. You know, they say the flavor's in the fat. Well, this is a perfect example of that. It's crazy good. So Phil says tacos. Yeah, pulled pork or add it. Shepherd's pie. Yeah, I need to get a shepherd's pie going. I haven't done that video for Atlanta Grill Company yet. That's a perfect idea. I don't have enough lamb. I don't know if I've got enough lamb to make a shepherd's pie. If I do, I need to go look. If I've got enough lamb to do it, I'll do a shepherd's pie with that. That would be perfect. I'll smoke that and then use that meat to make a shepherd's pie. And then I could have a real shepherd's pie that my wife won't eat. Tanya, oh boy. Tanya's got company. Tanya, would you eat shepherd's pie if I made it with lamb?
No.
No. Okay. So yeah, Tanya, what I end up making would be a cottage pie because I use ground beef. Tanya will eat that. So oh man. Yeah, lamb, like I said, my experience with lamb is weak. I just haven't done enough of it to know what all my options are. One of the favorite things I've done with lamb is if you dig back on the Kamado Joe YouTube channel, I did a stuffed leg of lamb on there, and that was some of the best lamb I've ever made. I butterflied that leg. I got a boneless leg, and I butterflied it, and I stuffed that guy with onion and blue cheese and cooked it, and good Lord, it was good. Rice pilaf. Man, that sounds good. Yeah, lamb is something that I'd like to do more of, but once again, I'm the only kid in this house that'll eat it. So let's see where I am here in the picture stream. We don't have a lot more to go here. I did homemade pimento cheese again this week because one of the things, for those of you who aren't here all the time, my wife, there's a couple of things that I make that my wife thinks are off the hook. So I'm going to bring Tanya back for this. Tanya, Tanya likes my pimento cheese, right?
I do. It's your transcendental pimento cheese.
This pimento cheese actually is not my original, but
it was good.
What I do is I start out with New York extra sharp cheddar, and I grate an 8-ounce block of that. And then I add mayonnaise until I'm happy with the consistency. I don't know what the quantity is. I just know what kind of consistency I like. And I do use Duke's mayonnaise for those of you that can get that or familiar with that. And then I put diced pimentos in it. And when I start out with an 8-ounce block instead of a 16-ounce block, I only end up using half of one of the small jars of diced pimentos. So that's the basic pimento cheese, but then I season mine. Typically, my recipe, I put a little bit of chipotle powder in there, a little bit of, I'm talking about, I'll use an 1/8 of a teaspoon each of chipotle powder, garlic powder, and onion powder. But on this batch, I used about a tablespoon of Lane's Barbecue's SPF 53 rub. I really like the way the SPF 53 seasons my pimento cheese. But where we are going with pimento cheese is hot dogs. And once again, I do slot dogs. And you guys that have been around know I like the slot dogs. This is a tool that I have that you press down on top of your hot dogs and it does the cross cut. You flip it over and do the backside. And these I cooked on the, I like to use the pellet grill to do this. And I run the pellet grill up to about 450 degrees and roast these hot dogs for about 10 minutes. And what I didn't take a picture of is underneath these hot dogs and these buns is some of my homemade hot dog chili. So when I get to that point, we smear pimento cheese on top of the hot dogs, throw it back on the grill long enough to melt that pimento cheese and get those buns toasted up a little bit. And you end up with these. This is the Man Cave dog. I've affectionately named this the Man Cave hot dog because I'm sure somebody's probably done this before, but I don't know. I've not seen them. I'm sure somebody's put pimento cheese on hot dogs before, but my wife, I told you how my wife loves the pimento cheese. The second thing she loves that I cook is that homemade hot dog chili. So when you put the two of them together on a hot dog, she's in heaven. Am I right, Tanya?
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite meals.
It's very simple. It's a hot dog, but one of the things that Chef Eric Gephardt says all the time is simplicity done well wins every time. And that's exactly the case with these hot dogs. I get these bun length. Tanya likes the Hebrew National hot dogs, which is what I normally buy. If for some reason I can't get the Hebrew National all beef, I'll buy the Nathan's, which I think are just as good. And on these hot dog buns, I typically like to buy those top sliced hot dog buns, but when I went to the store this week to get groceries, they didn't have any of the top sliced buns, so I had to buy the regular buns. And these came off a little. These buns were a little short. Chris says it'd be a great idea on a smash burger. Tanya, I haven't done a burger with pimento cheese yet, have I?
No, and that would be awesome. I agree.
So do we
5
need to build?
stars.
Since I've started my burger series, do we need to make a Man Cave burger?
I think so.
All right, well, we need to talk about that then, because I don't want to just take what we put on the hot dog and make a burger out of it. We got to do something a little different. We'll figure that out. But
I have some ideas.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about it.
Well, bacon. I know you're not big on bacon on everything, but man, some bacon would be good.
Oh, man. I made bacon this week. We're going to look at that here in just a minute. So bacon. Yeah, I agree. Bacon's good on a burger. So let's talk about that. This is one other picture I posted this week on the Kamado Joe group on Facebook. What you see here is my Kamado Joe Classic 3. And inside that, I've got a small charcoal basket inside my Kamado Joe charcoal basket. Now, I make a post about this, and I like to tease this idea periodically. When you're going to do a shorter cook, I like to put my charcoal in a smaller basket inside the bigger basket. It keeps the charcoal together, and 2 or 2.5 pounds of charcoal will run my Classic at $2.50 for 8 hours without any trouble. And I like to do this. And for those of you who have a Kamado Joe Jr. plus a Big Joe or plus a Classic, get the charcoal basket to go in the Kamado Joe Jr., and then you can use it this way as well. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but this allows me to use a smaller amount of charcoal and use more airflow in the grill to improve the overall flavor of whatever I'm cooking there. So here's the bacon. I made bacon because I was going to I did the burger video this week. And if you haven't seen my burger video, you're going to find out quickly that I forgot to put bacon on my burger. I made bacon for the sole purpose of putting it on the burger that I made in the video. So I used my Lodge cast iron pan and just put that. I cooked these on the pellet grill also. I just put bacon in there and cooked it till it was nice and crisp. And then I made these amazing burgers. This Stephen Hickey gave me a burger book a while back, and the first regional burger in that book is called the Texas Smoked Burger. So, and what that is I used my Kamado Joe Classic. The video's out. I published this video today. It's on Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel and their Facebook page. I put a cast iron pan in the Classic at $2.50, and I made some 6-ounce burger patties that I pressed out with my burger press, and I melted a little bit of butter in the cast iron pan, and then I set the burger patties in there, and I set an onion slice in there with them. And I seasoned the burger patties with the Atlanta Grill Company Himalayan Sherpa. And I let those cook for 45 minutes or so until the burgers were done. And then I put a little bit of a slice of sharp cheddar on there and let that cheddar melt. And on the bottom side of this bun, I put on a little barbecue sauce. Then I set the burger patty on there with the melted cheese. I set my grilled onion on there. And on mine, I put the kosher dill pickles. And these are these hamburger buns. These are the Ballpark brand hamburger buns. And they've got this everything bun that's got the everything bagel seasoning on top of the bun, and I really like these. I opened up the buns and I smeared each bun with a little bit of a thin layer of mayonnaise. And while these guys were smoking on the Classic, I fired up my gas grill and toasted the inside of these buns. I don't have a picture to show you what those look like, but if you're interested in that, you can look at the video. So that's where we ended up cooking this week. I feel bad now because I thought I had some of the brisket photos in here. I did brisket this week, and where are my brisket pictures? Here we go. I'll give you a sneak peek of the brisket. I bought this prime brisket at Costco, and like I said, the brisket prices are coming back down. This was $3.99 a pound, and they're normally $3.49 a pound when things are normal. So, well, that's a different photo. That doesn't belong there. These are the steak. This is the tomahawk steak, which we looked at that last week. Let me get through these pictures. Okay.
Where am I? Going the wrong direction.
Apparently I am. Okay. So I took this brisket and I trimmed, like I said, about 3 pounds of fat off of this guy. And I took the membrane off the top side, and I didn't trim this too aggressively, but at this point I've got 3 pounds of fat off of that, which is what I used to make the video for the rendered fat. I seasoned this brisket with a 50-50 mix of my AP Mojo and my Pork Mojo. And then there's a picture, there's the bowl of fat that I had salvaged from this. I seasoned it, let that seasoning set in, and then I put it on the grill. And let me tell you guys, as you know, if you've ever cooked a brisket before, briskets are picky. And this one gave me fits just like a lot of briskets do. Brisket's got to be the most finicky piece of barbecue meat I've ever cooked. But I've cooked a lot of them, so I understand what to look for. Typically, and this cook, I'm cooking at 300 degrees because I'm doing a daytime cook, and I'm expecting this to cook 6 or 7 hours. And what I like to do is put it on at 300 and wait for my bark to set up. And once my bark is set up, I'll wrap it and finish it. And it usually finishes within an hour or 90 minutes of the time I wrap it. But this brisket, for some reason or another, decided it was going to cook faster than any brisket I've ever cooked. Let's go back the other direction. So I get it on here and get it started. And that's something else going on. Dadgummit. Okay. You know, I'm showing here, this thing's cooking. Some bark is starting to form on it. Here's another picture a little bit later. The bark's not forming up very well at that point. Here you can see the bark starting to get a little better. It's starting to get a little better there. It's starting to get a little better here. Here it's starting to, you're starting to see, you know, some of the bark setting up, but there's still a bunch of area on this brisket where the bark's not set up yet. Here, it's starting to come together. And at this point, I said, well, let me check the temperature on it. And Lord help, when I checked the temperature on this guy, or here's where I checked it. You know, I've got some places here where my bark is set, but the problem here is you can see here that there's a bunch of bark not set up. When for whatever the reason, at this point, we're about, I don't know, 3 hours into this cook, three and a half hours into this cook. I stuck a temperature probe in it, and I don't normally do that. I don't normally even consider what the temperature of the meat is until my bark is set. But I stuck the probe in there, and my brisket's probing at 185 degrees at this point. So I've got a problem. My brisket's about done, and I don't have any bark, but I want to wrap this brisket. So I had to make a judgment call here. I needed to wrap it, and my bark's not set up. So I had to salvage a great bark to make this brisket cook the way I wanted it to. I always finish my briskets in a wrap. So I double wrapped this guy and let it finish, and then I rested it for an hour or so. And here's what we have after the rest. And you can see very plainly here that I've got some good bark in spots, but I've got a huge place here in the middle of this brisket where my bark's not set up. And the total cook time on this brisket was, I'm trying to remember if it was 4 hours or 4.5 hours. It was less than 5 hours for this 12-pound brisket at 300 degrees. I've never in my life had a brisket cook that fast. The results were beautiful. The meat was perfectly cooked. It tasted great. It was perfectly tender. It was everything it was supposed to be. But I don't have the bark I needed, and that's like I said, that's the first time I've ever had that happen. It was here. You can see from these pictures, everything came out amazing. You know, I got no complaints at all about what we've got with that brisket, but I didn't have a bark. But like I said, I made a judgment call, and I stopped the cook, or I stopped the unwrapped cook, and decided not to worry so much about the bark, because the bark, in my opinion, is not the most important part of the brisket. The meat, the resulting meat, is the most important part of the brisket. So you want to make sure that you don't overcook it or undercook it. And sharing the bark is important, because the bark is a flavor element. But if you have to sacrifice bark for the overall meat quality, then that's what needs to be done, and that's what I had to do here. So I talked about that briefly in the video. You know, yeah, Phil, there's a lot of ways, a lot of techniques for creating smoke. I don't mess with it in the ash pan, but you could put it in there. I just put a couple of chunks in with the charcoal, and I'm usually happy with the results I get. That slow roller, the slow roller in the Classic 3 is magic, man. You see the smoke ring I got. You see this smoke ring right here. There's no denying that slow roller, I do believe, improves the smoke ring. And like I said, smoke rings don't affect the flavor. They don't have anything to do with the flavor of this meat. They're just eye-catching, and they're kind of like a badge of honor in barbecue. But the slow roller definitely improves my smoke ring and makes that always awesome. So that's what I cooked this week. So next week I'm gonna try to churn out. I'm not sure what videos I'm going to publish next week. I've got 3 videos now that haven't been published. I've got the brisket, I've got the turkey legs, and I've got the beef ribs. I'm not sure what's coming next, so I don't know what I'm going to cook next week. I want to keep this burger series going. if I do it, I'll probably do another burger this week and publish that as a Thursday video along with something else. But I would like to get, I'm hoping to get 3 more videos done this coming week, because ultimately the reason I'm trying to get ahead of the game right now is I like to take life easy in December. I like to enjoy the Christmas season and not have to worry so much about video production. So I like to get ahead of the game. And let's see, Brian says he's going to Atlanta in November. Oh, man. First of all, Brian, keep your eyes open for Atlanta Grill Company to run a sale on the Atlanta Grill Company set. They occasionally run a sale where you can buy the whole set of their stuff for like $60 or something. But for as far as Lane's is concerned, oh man.
Does Lane's make anything bad? I mean, I haven't found it.
Get the scorpion steak rub from Lane's. It's the mix that Chef Eric Gephardt came up with at one of the live events we had at Atlanta Grill Company. It's a mixture of 3 of Lane's rubs. That's a beautiful beef rub. The SPF 53 from Lane's is a really good hot rub, a spicy rub, and I'm trying to think of the name. The Qnami. Oh, Qnami. It's Q-Nami. You got to get that. That in the world of barbecue rubs, that rub right there is the most unique tasting barbecue rub I've had in my entire life. I love doing pork with it. I've done butts with nothing but Qnami, and it's incredible. So get the Qnami if you're going to get something from Lane's. If you can only get one from Lane's, get Qnami. Get that. The Lane's rubs are premium. They're pricey, but get the Qnami. The scorpion steak is a pretty 1-to-1-to-1 mixture of Qnami, SPF 53, and the brisket, the Lane's brisket rub. So, man, when you go to Atlanta Grill Company, the best advice I can give you is you want to treat that trip just like you'd treat a trip to Las Vegas. Figure out how much money you're willing to spend gambling, and don't go in that store with any more money than that in your pocket, and see what you can come out with. Because it's real easy to go in there and spend several $100s. I do it every time I go in there. So
he does.
This guy, I'm going to be jealous of Mr. Scott Marshall, because Scott must live in Nashville, where he can go into the brick and mortar presence of Porter Road, Picanha. I haven't bought their butt. Yeah. Stephen lives out. Stephen Hickey. I don't guess Stephen's with me tonight. He must. I don't know where Stephen is. He usually shows up around here, but the Porter Road, man, their stuff's incredible. I've spent a lot of money, and I've told the story of how I got affiliated with Porter Road. They don't provide me free meat. They gave me some free meat in the beginning because they said they would like to win me over as a customer, and that's exactly what they did. I buy my meat from them, but I'm looking at another company now that I'm trying to see if I can do a similar experience with. So I want to I'll have you more information on this other company a little bit later. I've heard they've got a bigger selection of stuff than Porter Road does, and their prices are cheaper, but I'm not sure about their quality yet because I haven't cooked any of their meat. So we'll see what happens. Scott, next time I go to Heritage Farms, which is hopefully going to be sometime soon. Tanya, when's your are you off Monday?
I am, but I potentially may have plans unless I need to change them.
No, we just need to get down to Heritage Farms sometime, and I'm trying to figure out when that can happen.
Well, I'm off Monday, but the next time that I'm off is October 15th,
What day of the week is that on?
a Friday
Well,
for
let's.
fall break.
I don't want to try to go to Heritage Farms on a Friday either because that would get in the way of this. Because Heritage, I don't know, we might could pull it off. Heritage Farms is 3.5 hours away. It's a little closer than Atlanta Grill Company, but I want to get one of the Cheshire pork butts from Heritage Farms and cook it. And I haven't been to Heritage Farms since the pandemic started. They've got their store open back up, so I need to get back down there because I don't have anything in my freezer from Heritage Farms right now. And their pork, in my opinion, is world class.
Well,
That Cheshire pork,
after that, I have November 11th off.
is that a weekday?
It is.
What day of the week is that?
I can't remember if it's a Wednesday or a Thursday. Let me look.
Either one of those days would work though.
It's
So
a
maybe we
Thursday.
is that's not Thanksgiving, is it?
No, that's Veterans Day.
Okay, well let's plan Heritage Farms on that day and
Okay.
pencil me in for that. We'll run down to Heritage Farms and I'll see if I can maybe get Chef Eric to meet us down there.
Oh, that'd
He
be
lives
lovely.
Chef Eric doesn't live too far from there. Maybe we can have lunch with Eric and his wife or something.
And I
And
think that may be near the Littleton Paranormal Museum. So maybe we could
okay,
sort of just duck our head in and I can see if it
yeah,
would be
we'll
worthy of a
check
trip
that
for
out.
Tristan and Xander.
So we'll figure it out. So that's all I got for this week, guys. I'll have, if you've got any questions, be sure to post them in the comments, and that way I can go back and answer them for you when I run back through all the comments. Because I know I don't see all the comments. I can see the comment screen here, but I don't. I'm not able to read them all while I'm talking. So if there's a question that pops up there that I haven't answered uh, within the stream itself, I always try to answer those after the fact. So if you've got the questions, be sure to post them there, and we're going to try to. We've been going a little over an hour now. Um, I need to get another guest on with us, and what I might try to do next week is get Chris from the Food and Booze Geeks group on Facebook. I talked about having him on to talk about bourbon. This Chris is a far more knowledgeable of bourbon and tasting and the nuances of bourbon and whiskey than I am. And I'd like to get him on here sometime to maybe give. I know a lot of you guys that come on here are interested in bourbon. Some aren't. So
Yeah.
Tom,
Java.
yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens. And I still need to talk to Troy Smith. Troy Smith told me that he would be available after the 4th of July, and I haven't gotten back with him yet either. So I'll get us another guest on here, and we'll see
Sharon has a quick question for you.
how can I divide a brisket for smaller cooks. Well, you can always separate the point from the flat if you buy a full packer and cook the two individually. But Sharon, do you have a vacuum sealer? Do you have a food saver or a chamber sealer for leftovers? Do you have one of those? Because my answer typically on this item is don't cut a brisket down. Uh, I would rather cook the whole thing. She does not have one. Okay, I would separate the point from the flat, and I've never done a video on how to do that, but there is a vein of fat that runs between the two. You kind of have to look for it. The point is the thicker end of the brisket. The flat is the thinner end. And where those two pieces come together, there's a vein of fat that runs between them. And you can cut right through that fat and cut the brisket into two pieces where you've got a flat and the thicker point piece. The point is going to be smaller than the flat when you separate them. It's not as big of a piece, but then you could potentially have a point and then you could cut your flat into two pieces. But if you don't have a vacuum sealer, you're not going to have a real good way to save those pieces after you cut them down. I recommend that you buy a vacuum sealer. So even an inexpensive food saver is going to solve that problem. And it's the best way to handle leftovers. I vacuum seal all of my leftovers, and I use my sous vide circulator for reheating barbecue. You can put a vacuum seal bag of brisket in a sous vide bath at 160 degrees, and about an hour later, it's ready to serve, and it's almost as good as it was when it came off the smoker. So I would really consider adding a vacuum sealer to your arsenal. And the bottom end, cheap, inexpensive, the least expensive model food saver that they make is a really good vacuum sealer. It does a great job. I've had two of those, and I wore one of them out, and I ruined the other one by sucking 00 flour up into it, trying to vacuum seal flour. Don't try to vacuum seal flour with it. So that's what happened. And but that's the only other thing you could do is go to the grocery store and buy smaller pieces of brisket. But when you do that, you're going to pay stupid amounts for it. My local grocery stores are getting $7 and $8 a pound for small pieces of a flat. Yep, sous vide circulators. Yeah, you need one of those too. I don't cook much sous vide, but in my opinion, the sous vide circulator is worth its weight in gold for reheating frozen barbecue. That's what I do most often with mine. And you may get lucky and find out that you like cooking some things sous vide. And if you do that, what?
With the holidays coming up, remember you can always use the sous vide controller to melt chocolate.
Yeah, we've done. We vacuum seal the chocolate and put it in a sous vide bath, and you can actually temper chocolate and at the right temperature in a sous vide bath. That's kind of neat how that works. But a boneless, skinless chicken breast in a vacuum seal bag in a sous vide bath at 140 degrees for 2.5 hours might become a game changer for your boneless and skinless chicken breasts. So keep that in mind. That's one of the things. I did a video on Atlanta Grill Company not too terribly long ago where I did a sous vide chuck roast and then made a steak out of it. That's really good. That's one of the other things I like to do with sous vide. And Scotty, I have not done a lot of sous vide videos. The one I just described on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page or Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel is a sous vide chuck steak. I did that one not too terribly long ago. I really like that. On Kamado Joe's YouTube channel, I did a sous vide brisket. And I want to think that I did some sous vide ribs at one point or another. I can't remember if I did or not. It's been so long. I don't do a lot of sous vide because for me, I don't like sous vide.
She's the best.
Sous vide is one of the few cooking methods that I don't believe adds something to the food you're cooking. It's kind of like boiling or poaching or steaming. It's a viable cooking technique. It will cook the meat, but I prefer to use methods that add some sort of flavor through the method itself, and sous vide just doesn't do it. Sous vide gives you, if you need perfect cooking, if you want to cook a steak to 131.5 degrees, you can do that with sous vide. It'll work great, but that process doesn't add anything to the flavor, and
you can also do boiled eggs. I did that one time. Made some really nice boiled eggs.
You can hard boil eggs sous vide by doing it a certain temperature at a certain time, and you'll get perfect hard boiled eggs every time. And you can change that temperature and time to make it to the exact the yolk the exact texture you want. You can do a soft boiled egg via sous vide also,
So those of
and
you out there that love the ramen egg, oh yeah.
get perfect results every time. So there's some advantages to sous vide, but it's just not my jam. I like fire and smoke, and so all right, uh, Tanya and I got to get some dinner, and I got to unwind, man. I'm still cranked from that nasty drive home. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and we will see everybody next week.
Happy Labor Day.